Hey everyone. Today is day 443, and I'm just gonna give you guys I'm gonna show you the game that I just played today. It's actually gonna be, after having played it, which I don't typically do, and just give you a quick update on how everything is going. So yeah, basically, some of you might have seen I got real close to 2000. I was one win away multiple times, and then lost. Actually, I can show you guys real quick. So two times I had the opportunity to hit 2000, and both times I lost that game. And as you might expect, went on a huge losing streak afterwards. I'm not going to get too much into this because I talk about this all the time, but the psychology of chess, and winning, losing, your expectations, like it all really plays into this. And I'm for sure not the first person this has happened to who gets really close to some kind of goal, fails, and then just plummets afterwards. To be honest, I'm not even that surprised that it happened. But yeah, so as you guys can see, I lost like 8 games the same day after that. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I came back after like a week, played another 4 games, lost all of those. So, chess is tough. Like sometimes you take a day off, sometimes you take a week off, and you just never know what you're going to get, especially when you're playing opponents that are your level or better. As you guys might know, like I have a setting to make it so I only play players that are no less than 25 elo points below me. So I can only play players that are at most 25% or 25 points lower than me, which means I'm always playing people that are high rated. Almost always I'm facing people that are high rated, and I do prefer that, but in terms of the statistics, like your win and loss ratio, I have for sure seen a difference here. I lose more games than I win. And sometimes, I'll play like 10 games and let's say I play 100 games and I have 45 wins, and 55 losses. I still might end up gaining rating just simply because the opponents that I'm facing are in general higher rated. I didn't account for like draws and stuff like that, but anyways, you guys get the point. And yeah, so in this morning I actually was watching Gotham Chess's video on his update to the Road to GM series, and I thought it was really interesting because it is very similar, right? He gave himself a goal, he's been working hard on that goal, and he talked a lot about like the publicity aspect of it and how much pressure and stress it is having people like Hikaru and just any number of YouTubes constantly making videos of their opinions of whether they think he's going to make it or not. And that's really tough. It's not like top athletes don't face this. It's not like Magnus doesn't constantly have people scrutinizing his games. Any top GM, right? They have that. But they are also like the very top chess players for a reason because they probably do very well under pressure. They probably don't let that get to them too much, although you have cases like Ding Liren. Anyways, so I thought the whole video, Gotham Chess's video, was pretty insightful and kind of a reminder that, like, you know, it really shouldn't be. You really have to be careful with goals and stuff. And I wanted to just hit 2000 just so that I could kind of be done with the series, to be honest, and switch things up. The way that it stands right now is I don't want to play 15-minute, 10-second increment or even 30 minutes because it's a lot of time, guys. And maybe I end up winning more, but I also don't have like, you know, 4 hours per day always to play chess. And that's kind of what you're in for. Like if you want to play several games, right? Even if they're higher quality games, like that's a lot of time. And so yeah, the approach that I've adopted, it might not be the best approach. There is no perfect approach, and I get loads of comments all the time telling me what to do, what I should do, what opening I should play, this and that. And honestly, I kind of have to just respectfully like let people comment, but kind of ignore it because if you have like a billion sources of, advice, and that's no good. You really need to focus on one thing. I do have a coach. I do study, although I could probably study more. So that might not be the best way to go about this, playing 10-minute games, but as far as I know, like most other YouTubers that I've followed who have hit 2000, they pretty much did the same thing. They just played tons of 10-minute games and eventually just through sheer grinding and, pattern recognition and, of course, analyzing your mistakes and stuff. Eventually it happens. And it is kind of just a question of time, effort, willingness. That being said, of course, that doesn't mean that even if I hit 2000 ELO with that approach, that I'm going to be a better chess player. No, absolutely not. But I'm also playing over the board chess. And for those games, I do take it a little bit more seriously. I do prepare more. And so I am kind of taking care of that other side of making sure I'm progressing. I'm actually learning and getting better. Spamming 10-minute rapid games is not always like getting better. It really just seems like you get in a streak. And once you're in the streak and once you're in the zone, you can just write it out. And you can play a lot of games and gain that rating really fast. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is just basically write it out until I get another winning streak. But big conclusion here is basically just like Gotham Chess in his video. He was basically like road to GM, like kind of like road to improvement, actually. He's just going to put less emphasis on the whole Grandmaster title because he acknowledges and accepts that that is not his utmost priority. His utmost priority is Chessly, teaching, the whole Gotham Chess YouTube channel and sort of enterprise. And same thing for me. Like, chess can take a huge toll on your life. Streaming and making YouTube videos with this has been fun, but I gotta say it's also not easy. Sometimes I do wish that I was just doing this by myself. I typically, I don't care what people, when I like doing something, I just do it. I don't care if anyone is watching or if they want to, what they have to think or say about it typically. And with this, it's not as easy. So anyways, all that is to say is that I think the good news, the takeaway from getting really close to 2000 and then kind of plummeting back down to 1900 is that I just don't care that much anymore. It'll happen when it happens. And I'm just going to do my best to still play pretty regularly as much as I can. Also to study and just enjoy it. Like, bottom line, if you are not enjoying this game, you probably shouldn't play it. You shouldn't do anything that doesn't bring you, some level of happiness and satisfaction. That doesn't mean that you don't need to like grind and go through some stress or suffering sometimes to get better. But end of the day, guys, like, you have to really just enjoy it. And, and same for the chess culture and a lot of the people, YouTube and stuff. There's a lot of lovely people, I'll say right now, a lot of lovely people in the stream and the chat and stuff. But guys, I have never been confronted with so much. I just wasn't prepared for so much maliciousness, I would say. And of course, a lot of people, they're young. It's the internet. People tend to hide behind the mask they have on the internet because obviously, like, I watched another interview with Gotham Chess, and he was saying, like, they had asked him, how do you deal with all these comments? We noticed that you like pin the worst comment oftentimes. How do you deal with that and everything? And he said, like, yeah, what else can you do, really? Because the thing is, if you were on the street and someone said something like that to you, you just don't do that. And if you do, you better be ready for like the repercussions. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want on YouTube. You can comment whatever you want. You can go on someone's stream and just try to make their day worse if it affects them. And there's like close to no, what's the word? Consequences. And that breeds a very particular sort of behavior that I find pretty despicable. But I also recognize that, at the end of the day, I'd rather like look at myself and why it might trouble me or why it might affect me and just take care of that more than having to respond to every single, person that thinks they know better or thinks that I suck or this or that. It's exhausting. If you go to play in a chess tournament, like, that's not going to happen. You're going to play, no matter how poorly you play, your opponent isn't going to like finish the game and be like, you suck. Like, that was terrible. Like, that would never happen because there's a bare minimum of sportsmanship. There is very, very little sportsmanship online. And that is kind of, one of the things that I do, appreciate less or even resent with online play is the lack of sportsmanship, and it's just exacerbated with like streaming and YouTube and stuff like that. So Anyways, not really. I probably ranted here. God, how long was this? Yeah, 10 minutes. Holy crap. So 10-minute update. I am still going to be making these videos for the Journey to 2000 Elo on Rapid. Maybe not every single day, but I also will be putting out more content and videos that are just totally unrelated. I have the Journey to 2000 FIDE, which guys basically is, I'm not saying like, oh, I have to get to 2000 FIDE and it's going to happen like, next month. Again, I get tons of people that think it's a ridiculous goal and this and that. There's a million reasons why I could say it's absolutely not an unattainable goal. And I never said I would get it next month or even like in a year, but it's YouTube. You got to make it catchy. People need to be interested. And really all it's for is showing you guys my progress in over the board chess with the recaps. So I will be putting out those as well. And still streaming and everything. So yeah, I don't know. Here we are. We're still going. Okay, let's get to this game. Oh my God, I'm like cooking in this robe of mine. So this was the last game I played today. I played like, I don't know, 11 games or something. And I did go positive. I had more wins than losses, but I can tell I'm pretty rusty. There were some pretty bad games today. This was the very last game. And yeah, I had a Scandinavian, the Portuguese variation. They went knight f3. And I know I really need to go over my openings. Sometimes I feel really, really sharp with my openings, but it's been a while since I've gone over them, and it's like pretty bad, especially with my Scandinavian. People, if they play the very safe, like boring, like knight f3, there's just nothing really to do. There's no tricks. I love when, I get something like this because there's tricks and I am more in theory and they are probably not. But that doesn't happen as much and I need to go over my lines. So anywho, we get this position and I go knight c6. They go d5. It took a while to think about this, even though it's the obvious best move is you always long castle. You long castle, pin the pawn to the queen. They usually bring the queen out here, which they did. And then here, this is where I tend to struggle. So I really need to go over these positions where there's like the pins and you got to be careful because if you move your bishop and they're attacking your queen and okay, sometimes you move your knight or you take a pawn if it's on e5 and sometimes you blunder a pawn. It's like just so confusing. It's really the hardest part that I find with the Scandinavian. Anyways, I did not find the best move here. I decided to take and then give this check just to get away from the bishop. And then I really was eyeing knight d4. Just ideas of like knight c2, check, winning the rook, hitting the bishop, and it's centralizing my knight. The best move is actually just to immediately go knight e5, because if they take, in this case, you're not in trouble. You grab the bishop, and that's actually, let's see the best move here. F4. F4? What? F4. Okay, that's the best move for the computer. That looks ludicrous, but like if they take with a king, they can't even take with a king actually, but let's say they go, I don't know, this looks good. This looks good. I don't know why I didn't see this. So then gave the check, bishop e3 blocks, which I did see coming. And I went knight d4 like I wanted to. I needed to get my knight out of there anyways. They went knight d2. I didn't really want to snap that bishop off because it's just helping my opponent develop. I wasn't really sure what to do, but I had to stop the queen from taking here now. They castle, so now this bishop's no longer pinned. I played e6. I have to develop. My bishop's been trapped in there for a while. And this was tough because I knew, okay, if they take, well, I can take with the queen, and trade off. But it's just very, like, delicate. It's like a very open position, and you can blunder really easily. So I was trying to be careful. I took with the queen, which was actually not the best move. There was a better move, which was bishop d6, immediately threatening mate. If they keep taking, they get mated, so they can't. They'd probably have to go just g3. So you get a tempo, right? Like you get a free tempo. And then I'm wondering, knight takes f3 is by far the best move, but even like f takes e6, it says is also okay. Oh, actually it's not. It's not looking great. Let me change my view here. It does say that white's slightly better here. You really got to work for what you get in the Scandinavian, I'll tell you. Anyways, I took with a queen, then I snapped the knight off. And this was kind of tricky because I had to get out of the fire from the rook. Knight d4, which is a blunder. Actually, did I look at this move? Queen d7. I don't entirely get why that's a blunder. Gonna be honest with you here. Okay. I because of queen d7. This looks very strange. I'm not sure why that's a blunder. It's not like blundering a piece or anything, just I guess positionally. Here, b5, knight b5. What? Like, how is this a blunder? This looks awful for me. This looks terrible. This looks not fun to play against. Anyways, they went knight d4. I just moved my queen over to h5. I did kind of have this idea of going bishop d6 and then knight g4, hitting the bishop, and then just putting pressure on everything. Also, I kind of wanted to close down the d file because with being castled long, you know, I'd rather have the e file open than the d file. You got to be careful sometimes. Like the queen is eyeing the d7 square. So anyways, that was my idea. So I did go bishop d6. It actually wants knight d4, sorry, knight g4 right away. But here I thought like bishop f4. Oh, there's tactics. Knight takes f2. If king takes bishop c5. I'm not sure I was about to do that. Sack a knight. Like this knight is still protected. I'm not. Yeah, they go here. Queen h4 check. That's a bit too much for me, especially for like a 10-minute game. So I guess I missed that. I just decided to go bishop d6 first, and then I knew they would play g3, and then I was going to go knight g4. And then I was thinking that there would be ideas of maybe snapping off the pawn on g3, potentially targeting f2. They took with the rook, and then I went bishop c5. And this just, when I got to this position, I thought, okay, I'm better. Like, I know I'm better, but I need to find the right follow-up here. I saw this move coming, and I guess it's actually a mistake. They needed to play rook e4, which that's not so obvious either. Also, keep in mind the queen, if they ever move, that rook is hanging, and I really like that. Anyways, they went here. I somehow found the best move, queen g4. I was just thinking, okay, well, I'm adding more pressure to d4, and actually, if they move the knight anywhere, I'm still hitting that rook on d1. And if they move the rook anywhere, I might eventually get a queen around somewhere here to hit f2. I also was looking at queen e2, threatening, like, maybe, for example, I take, queen here, and I'm threatening mate and the rook, so I basically just win a piece. They went knight f5, which really surprised me. I was thinking they would go knight b3, although it looks like this. Okay, yeah. And I thought maybe I could sack the bishop. Takes, queen f5, and I win a rook. So, okay. Computer wants knight c2 here. And then queen e2, kind of like I thought. But this is a little bit, yeah, like, there's no mate threats. My king is kind of exposed. I didn't love that, but it looks like this is pretty dangerous because I'm threatening checkmate. Even if you go here, you lose a pawn. Anyways, game went on like this, and as you guys will see, I had 3 minutes. My opponent had 3 minutes 30 seconds, and like starting here, they just literally blundered a piece. And then starting here, I guess the whole idea was this like queen c2, which it looks good, but like it doesn't really look like it's threatening anything at all. I can just move my queen out of the way. Obviously, they want to play check and win the queen, but an entire plan based off of just the counting on me blundering didn't seem all that great. I actually found the best move here because bishop takes f2. You can't take with the queen or the king. If you take with the queen, I get the rook. And I was having to play pretty fast here now, so they didn't take and played king g2. And then I was like, oh, okay, I need to be careful here. Best move here is bishop d4, which is kind of crazy because they can't take or they lose the queen, and this blocks the discovered check. There are no checks from the rook anymore. That would have been better. I didn't find that. I was getting really low on time, so I blundered. Then they had rook f3. Like, they seriously just started pumping out moves super fast. And those are the most frustrating opponents for me, is they're like, it's like they sense that they're better and that in a time scramble, they're going to beat you. And they often do play really, really well and fast. So not only do you have to not get flagged, but you have to outplay them. And you guys will see how this continues. I found king b8. I'm still up a pawn. I'm still better, but I did have to be careful. Rook e8, b3. I decided, like, I was thinking of going here, but then I just thought, like, here takes, that looks not great. White's winning. So I decided to keep the queens on the board. Threw in a check real quick, and then queen a5 to threaten multiple things here. And they went queen d7, and I won the game. Queen e1 check. Keep in mind, I had a minute here to win this. I didn't know if it would be mate in 1 or 2, but after like queen check here. I was pretty sure there was a mate somewhere. And there was, and I won, and I was super happy with 45 seconds left. So, that is it, everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Do like and subscribe. Comment below. And I will catch you in the next video. Have a good day wherever you are.